Think smarter, not harder. That's the promise woven into Google's NotebookLM. At first glance, it seems like another note-taking app, simple and ordinary. But stay with it long enough, and you notice something different. It doesn't just collect words. It shapes them, organizes them, and breathes context into them. In a world overflowing with notes, links, and endless files, this tool offers something quieter: clarity. NotebookLM is not loud, not showy. It feels almost invisible, like a companion working in the background, gently uncovering patterns and meaning in the chaos we create. What is NotebookLM? NotebookLM is Google's attempt to change how we approach the act of keeping notes. At first glance, it doesn't look extraordinary. You can type into it, import documents, and create collections of information, much like you would with any other notebook app. But if you look closer, you'll notice it isn't built to simply hold text. It is built to understand it. The difference lies in the intelligence working underneath. Traditional note-taking tools such as Evernote or OneNote are like shelves. They store, they organize, but they never engage with what sits on them. NotebookLM, however, is more like a librarian who reads everything you place on the shelf. It doesn't just keep your words safe. It interprets them, builds connections between them, and is ready to recall them when you ask. This makes the notebook feel less like storage and more like a living archive. You can ask a question and receive an answer drawn directly from your notes. You can drop in a lengthy research paper and have it distilled into the key ideas that matter most. Instead of files existing as isolated fragments, they become part of a larger network that grows with you. NotebookLM shifts the role of notes from passive records to active companions. It allows you to spend less time searching and more time understanding. In a world where information grows faster than we can manage, that change feels almost essential. It is not just a new app. It is a quiet redefinition of what a notebook can be. The overwhelm of notes. We live in an age of endless information. Every day we gather documents, save links, scribble reminders, and record thoughts. At first, it feels productive, like we're building a library of our own. But over time, the weight of it begins to press down. Pages pile up, folders stretch endlessly, and we forget where things live. The act of taking notes was meant to give clarity. Instead, it often leaves us with confusion. Searching through hundreds of files for one answer can feel like trying to hold water in our hands, slipping, spilling, never quite steady. This is the quiet problem NotebookLM steps into. It doesn't erase the chaos, but it helps you face it. It reshapes the scattered into the simple. When the noise of your notes becomes too heavy to carry, this tool offers a lighter way forward. AI-powered summarization. Long notes can feel like walls, tall, endless, impossible to climb. A lecture stretches into pages. A meeting turns into hours of writing. A research article drowns you in details. Reading it all back can be overwhelming. This is where NotebookLM shows its quiet strength. Instead of forcing you to reread every line, it can reduce the weight into something light, a summary. Short, direct, clear. It keeps the heart of the message and removes the noise around it. Think of the time it saves. Minutes turn into seconds, hours turn into minutes. But more than time, it saves focus. Instead of losing energy scanning through dense paragraphs, you see the essence immediately. The beauty is in its precision. It doesn't just cut down words, it protects meaning. You walk away knowing the core ideas without the strain. For study, for work, or for life, this kind of clarity is rare. NotebookLM gives it back to you. Dynamic question. Answering. Memory often fails us. We write something down, yet when we need it, the detail hides in the middle of the pages. Searching through notes becomes another task, another drain of energy. NotebookLM offers a way around that. Instead of scrolling or scanning, you can simply ask, type a question, and the answer rises from your own notes. It feels like a dialogue with your past self, but sharper, quicker, more certain. You don't have to remember the page or the folder. The system already knows where the thread lies. It pulls it out and places it in front of you. A date, a definition, a connection between two ideas, it delivers what you seek without delay. This changes the role of notes. They stop being static records and become active tools. The notebook itself begins to respond, like a partner who listens carefully and replies with clarity when you call. Cross-note integration. Our thoughts rarely live in one place. An idea written in one notebook might connect to a note taken months earlier, but in traditional apps, each page stands alone, sealed off from the rest. The links remain hidden unless we stumble across them by chance. NotebookLM works differently. It looks across everything you've stored and finds the patterns. It notices when two separate notes speak the same language, when one idea supports another, or when a detail fits into a larger theme. It does what the human mind longs to do: connect the scattered pieces into something whole. This creates moments of discovery. A lecture note might suddenly illuminate a passage from a book. A meeting summary could tie into research you forgot you saved. These bridges don't just organize information. They spark new ways of thinking. With cross-note integration, your notebook becomes more than storage. It becomes a map, showing how your own knowledge fits together. Smart note recommendations. Sometimes learning feels like standing in front of a door, unsure of what lies beyond. You know the subject, but you don't know what to explore next. NotebookLM steps into that gap with gentle suggestions. As you add notes or bring in documents, it notices the themes and offers material that deepens them. It might remind you of something you wrote weeks ago, or highlight a passage that fits perfectly with your current project. The effect is subtle, but powerful. It feels less like an app and more like a guide pointing out paths you didn't see. These recommendations save you from starting over each time. Instead of digging through folders or struggling to recall sources, the right pieces rise to meet you. It's not about giving you more, but about showing you what already belongs to your journey. In this way, NotebookLM doesn't just store your work, it enriches it, layering knowledge on knowledge. Automated contextualization. Learning often stops when we stumble on something we don't understand. A strange word, a vague concept, a missing piece of background. It's enough to break our focus. We pause, we search, we drift away from the work in front of us. NotebookLM helps close those gaps. When you reach for an idea, it can bring along the context that surrounds it, a quick definition, a bit of history, a link to something related. The missing threads appear just when you need them, without pulling you out of flow. It's not about overwhelming you with more data. It's about giving just enough clarity to keep you moving forward. Instead of confusion, there is continuity. Instead of losing time, you gain momentum. NotebookLM quietly fills in the spaces, making your learning feel whole again. Personalized AI training. No two people take notes in the same way. Some write in short bursts, others in long passages. Some use symbols and fragments, others prefer full sentences. Over time, a pattern forms your own way of capturing thought. NotebookLM learns this rhythm. It studies how you write, how you organize, and what you return to most often. Slowly, it begins to adapt. The summaries feel closer to your voice. The answers reflect the structure you're most comfortable with. It becomes less of a generic tool and more of a mirror, shaped by your habits. This makes the experience personal. Instead of bending to fit the software bends to fit you. The longer you use it, the more natural it feels, like a quiet extension of your memory, tailored to the way your mind works. Real-world uses. The true value of a tool is measured in how it fits into daily life. NotebookLM is not built only for one type of person. It bends to many. For students, it acts as a guide through heavy textbooks and endless lecture notes. Instead of rereading page after page, they can lean on summaries, quick answers, and clear themes. Studying feels less like drowning and more like breathing. Professionals discover their strength in meetings and projects, A long list of discussions can shrink into clear action points. Searching for a decision or detail no longer eats up precious hours. Work becomes lighter, and focus returns to what matters: progress. Writers and journalists find in it a steady assistant. Research notes no longer sit in piles waiting to be sorted. Key facts rise to the surface when needed, helping stories take shape without missed details. Teams, too, gain from its presence. When voices and notes come from many hands, NotebookLM weaves them together. A shared narrative emerges, one that feels coherent instead of scattered. In all these settings, the effect is the same. It takes the burden of remembering and turns it into the freedom of knowing. NotebookLM is more than a notebook. It is a shift in how we hold on to knowledge and how we return to it. Instead of being buried under endless notes, we find clarity waiting for us. It is not just a tool. It feels like a quiet partner in thought, shaping order from the noise of information. As we move deeper into a world ruled by data, having something that listens and responds with meaning is rare. Stay curious, stay ready, and let technology make space for your mind to do what it does best: imagine.